Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the tiny cube in the forest. Or is it the mini cube in the forest? Mini cube. Little cube, meditation cube. This is going to be part three. Part three of the build. Oh my geez. Come to the realization that the cube is indeed very cool. We just need a little bit more outdoor space. So what the plan is today is to build a wraparound deck. So we shut the hatch, open the door, out the deck. So this was the plan all along. So we got down there. There's a very big drop. Let's show you what, let's give you a little tour. You want a little tour? Let's go take a look. We're going down the hatch. Down the hatch we go. We started digging the post. We got 8 holes dug. We've got some of our pressure treated wood. It looks like a little archaeological dig. We got our string. We got a string all set out. We got our posts all dug. We've got some old deck wood that we salvaged from a deck tear out. Dawn's here. Dawn's here, and we dug the posts. Are you excited for that, Dawn? We dug the posts without Dawn being here, actually.
No digging, just filling today.
That's right. We're gonna fill in the holes. We got her all set. So yeah, it's a nice day. Nice sun's shining. Birds are chirping, kinda. And people were asking about the relation from the cube to the outhouse. So there is facilities here. So we're gonna take a walk to the facilities. They're about 200 yards away. A root cellar, food preservation, storage, main cabin, outhouse. Still smells delicious. Okay, we're gonna build a deck. So, all right, so we're gonna get started. So when making an omelet, or in this case a deck, sometimes you gotta break some eggs. Does that make any sense? This is a tree that's in the way. This is not a really big tree. Well, it's a tall tree. This is ash, and it's been infected by the emerald ash borer. It's going all over North America, and it's basically killing every single ash tree in sight. There is no real cure for it. It was a bug imported from China, and it's infected all our North American ash trees. So this one is in the way, and it's very tall. So we've got to remove it. It's actually butt up against this nice elm tree, which has its own issues, but we currently healthy. We're just gonna take this one down, and guess where it's gonna land? It's gonna land right in the pond. We're gonna make a little bit of a splash because we gotta get rid of it. All right, let's cut this thing down. It's cool tool time again. I haven't talked about a tool in a while. This is my saw. This is an MS261. I've owned this for many years. I use it primarily for cutting firewood. It's a great saw. It's made by Stihl. I liked it so much I bought the newer version, which is the 261C. These are pretty good saws. I like them. I used to have the homeowner brand. Was it a Poulin? I had a Poulin for a while. My hands used to go numb all the time, so I bought this 261 and 261C. Great saws. Generally, it's advisable to use pressure-treated wood whenever you're building anything outdoors. In this case, I happen to have a bunch of 2x8 pressure-treated wood that I was actually able to use for the deck. Start with my ledger board, and I use lag bolts in order to attach them to the building that I'm screwing them into. In this case, it is a wood building, so I can just use regular wood lags. But if you were attaching to concrete, you would use concrete lags. It's another successful trip to the lumber store. These are cedar trees that were damaged. Either the tops broke off and they were dangling, either the ice storm or wind. So it's good to get these out of the way, manage the forest, because otherwise you get forest fires, and forest fires are bad. So pull the dead standing out. Hey, you can either pile it, you can burn it, you can use it. It's good to keep your forest managed. So these are the posts that are going to be used for the deck. It's like carbon sequestering, where you use the wood as opposed to burn the wood. It's all about using what you have to build what you want. What you doing there, Don?
Trying to peel the bark off the cedar with a draw knife.
Is it a sharp draw knife?
It is pretty good, actually. My compliments to the sharpener.
Why are we peeling the post?
I guess so the bark doesn't rot off and cause problems with the rotting of the actual post.
We're moving right along here. We've got our posts more or less set. We're just starting the rough framing of the deck, which is the 2x8 structure. This is an old deck that we had removed, and we thought, this is actually going back a couple of years we saved this stuff, not knowing that the price of lumber during these times would go like skyrocket. I did some Googling, and I checked out the price of 6x6 pressure treated posts, and they were $61 Canadian, which is insane. And then they wanted the 2x8 16 footers. They're 45 bucks. I was like, that's insane. It's good to save stuff. Maybe I should just sell it. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, framing with round posts that are different sizes, but we're making it work. We got a pretty square. We started off with a really square cube, and level, so you can see how it's coming along. Framing out this bad boy. Our material is only 12 feet long, so we're gonna make do. I don't know, it looks pretty substantial to me. I love being in the bush in the fall. Once your deck is all framed up, it's a good idea to actually go around and add blocking wherever you think it's necessary. Sometimes on your drawings, it'll actually dictate where your blocking should go. Slight design change. I've decided I want to be able to kind of be welcomed into underneath the cube, so I'm going to move the center. Actually, I'm not going to move it. Well, I am going to move it, but I'm going to add 2 posts, and it allows me to go in, and there's going to be a little bump out here for a fire pit on the 2nd floor. Hey guys, next day. We've got quite the progress on that deck, but we need some deck board. I like to start at the mill. We got some old spruce logs here. Actually, this is from cast off from a city job of an arborist that I know. He drops these guys off because they're basically somebody's waste. So I'm gonna take this log and I'm gonna turn it into deck boards. So I got my Norwood Lumber Pro HD 36. This thing will cut up to a 36-inch log. It'll do a 28-inch board. It is powered by 23 horsepower Vanguard engine. You know what? For the cost of lumber these days, this is more or less essential to have some sort of access to a sawmill. Once you got past the initial purchase price, it's money in the bank. You could mill lumber for other people and pay for the thing pretty darn quick. Norwood Lumber Pro HD 36. It's a great tool to have. I'm curious, does anybody else save their fast food cups? Like I tend to save anytime I get a fast food cup. I put like nuts and bolts and screws and stuff, and they're great for like when you need to mix something maybe that you don't want to use afterwards, like, you know, varnish or like you're mixing epoxy, or even if you're starting a campfire with diesel fuel, you just fill it up a little bit, dump it on the fire, and away you go. After milling all the boards, we ended up just rough placing them on top of the deck. We're gonna run a chalk line from end to end and then cut them off flush with the front of the deck. This is a spruce or it's a pine, I can't really tell. It's not weather treated, but what I'm gonna do is allow it like a year or so to weather, and then might put a solid stain on it to preserve it, because it won't really take the stain right now because it's a little too fresh. The spacing is, even over finger width, it is going to shrink a little bit, and the idea is to let it breathe. I don't want it to collect forest floor on top of it. I want the air to actually flow through. Anything that can dry out generally doesn't rot. Hopefully these little spaces will allow it for a little bit of air movement. Now that we got all the deck boards on, roughly where they should be, we've chalk lined all the way around, and we're gonna cut it out with the chainsaw, because my batteries are getting low and I've got lots of gas. Safety first. How's the pond? Is it cold? Oh, there she goes. Well guys, I think fall has finally set in. It's a chilly one today. It's a little more difficult working when it's cold. Your fingers are frozen. We're making some pretty good progress. I got some big plans for today. Hopefully we can get some progress done. It's getting going, it's getting moving, it's getting get everything thought out. The plan. I love the plan. So you can see our deck is coming along, but we need a little place for a fire cooking area out here. So what I'm going to build is a Romeo and Juliet balcony. Sort of like a little bump out here. We'll make it curved. Ideally, we would have extended the deck this way and then have a post and a beam. We're not going to do that. We're gonna laminate some plywood together and then extend some structure out. Maybe some tie back with some threaded rod. It's got to support a fireplace. It's not really intended for people to be walking on. It's just more like a decorative feature on the front of this thing. Give us a little bit more space so we're not sitting on top of the fireplace. Fireplace isn't sitting on top of us. I collected some posts. So these posts they're cedar posts. They're basically collected from all around the property from other trees that we cut down. We just figured, why waste them when we can just reuse them. I've got some more deck boards, and we're gonna build. Let's start building. Okay, so I got my Juliet balcony built. I didn't use pressure treated plywood. I didn't have any. I didn't use pressure treated wood. I used regular 3/8 plywood. I quadrupled layered. And what I'm gonna do is put a blue skin roof on it, and that'll prevent the water from getting down into the cracks. And then I can deck it like I normally would deck it. That should keep the water out of the end of the plywood. In order to make my railing, I ended up taking I guess it's about a 5 or 6 inch diameter, 7 inch, 8 inch diameter cedar, and then I notched a little thing with my chainsaw. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna temporarily tack them on the front of the fascia board. I guess that's not the fascia board. That's the ringer of the deck, and then I'm going to plumb them and then lag them in. I'm installing all the newel posts temporarily with 5-inch screws, and then what I can do afterwards, because they're all cut posts, I'm going to take them, put the railing on top of everything, and then level it as I go, because we're working with natural material. Nothing is the same size, so you kind of want to snip and chop afterwards, and you can get everything perfect. Once I've got everything temporarily attached, I'm going to use lag bolts in order to secure the posts to the ringer board. I've been trying these Rock Rooster boots all day. This is the end of the day. My feet are doing awesome. They're from a company called Rock Rooster. The Wooded Beersman dropped them off. They're great boots. You should check them out. The link is in the description below. We want to be able to cook on this deck, but it's made of wood. And if we cook on the deck made of wood, it's going to make our entire cube into a hibachi. And we don't want to do that. We don't light it on fire. So what I've done is I've taken a 100-pound propane tank. We're going to cut it up. We're going to fashion ourselves a wood-burning barbecue. I've got an old grill made of stainless steel. We're going to fashion the tank basically into a makeshift barbecue. We're going to suspend it from chains from post to post, and that gives us a nice little cooking area out front of our cube in order for us to basically stay in the cube, not get on the ground, self-contained. Everything will work out great. Dawn just informed me that this may not be a 100-pound tank. It may be a 50 or 60 or an 80. I don't know. Anyways, it's going to work perfectly for our purpose. The plan is to cut along this edge here all the way around, and it gives us a nice little area for our cooking grill to be, and then we can slide it from side to side in order to move our coals. If we want more heat one side, we can move our grill one side, or we can move it the other, or we can move our coals. It's multi-purpose, and then we're going to suspend it from chains. Let's get cutting. Or is it grinding? It's grinding. Let's grind. There was bees in there. This is the grill, and this is going to go like this. I might need to make it a little bit bigger, or like this, depending on how you want your thing. And then all your wood goes in here, suspended by chains. Doesn't light the whole thing on fire. I'm pretty sure it's going to work. Curious where I got this chain from? There's a garage door guy that should give a shout out to my garage door guy, Dominic. He gave me this chain because they guess they send a bunch of spare parts every time they does a garage door install. Same with the garage door that we used for the door on the cube. These are spare parts for garage door install that he just has laying around that he easily scraps for scrap metal, and he's like, well, if you want them, have them. So we're going to repurpose them to hold our barbecue up. The safest way I can think of doing this is suspending it in the air. So the plan is we're going to take some chains and we're going to suspend them from this post, and then we're going to attach it to this post and this post and this post. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a little bit of length so I can actually lower the fire pit down low if I want it low, if I'm sitting around it and I want a campfire style, or if I want to cook on it, I can raise it up to cooking level. Sounds cool too. You know what? You can be a big bell. Okay, let's get screwing. Perfect, just need the back side. You can go a little higher. Meaning the screws could go a little lower. Dinner time! Space drums. The haunting sounds of the forest played on a 100-pound propane tank. Or 60 or 50, I don't know what size. So now that we've got the tank hung, it appears as though it's going to work just fine. Check this out! We've got our tank suspended in midair with chains. It looks like it's a little wiggly. You know what? I think it's shock absorbing. When it's windy, you don't lose your burger off the edge. It's kind of like... The main thing is that we've got this thing up off the ground. It's not going to light our deck on fire. It's not going to light our... Well, it might light our posts on fire, but that's okay. We got lots of posts. I think it's far enough away that it might make the post steam a little bit. That, yeah. I think this will adequately suit our cooking needs. Look at that. It's actually, you know what I like the best about it? It matches. Look, it's the same color as the deck and the leaves. It's got the rusted patina. I like it. Now we're one step closer to living in this cube. We've got our cooking area. We've got our fresh water over here. Probably needs a filter, maybe a Brita. We're well on our way for life in the cube. We've got a little bit more finishing up to do. We've got the top rails to do. We've got the safety lower rails to do. That's going to require a little bit of effort and some time. It started to rain, typical for fall. It starts to rain. I don't. Every year I think it's not going to rain, and then it does. It just rains. From laziness? No. We cut this out of butt joint to conserve material. When you cut on a 45, you need your material to be extra long in your waist. This is a cube, so we're making all our joints square. Butt joints. What I say is safety eventually. Our plan here is to take this piece of ash, fine piece of ash, and we're going to install it about 2 feet off the ground. This is going to prevent the little people from falling through the edge, is to notch out of this post a little bit of material in order for this not to stick out too far and bang your knee off of it. we are attaching one more chain. So we're gonna have 4 points of contact as opposed to 3 points of contact to match the fact that we've got 4 posts on the cube. We're gonna put 4 posts, attachment points, on our hot dog here. Hopefully it doesn't go like this. You got your cooking area here and you got your cooling off area over here. How convenient is that? You just, I think this is gonna work. It's like a DJ booth. You can just back, a dance party on the pond when it freezes. A winter dance party. We're making furniture now. I'm gonna take a piece of countertop that's left over and I'm gonna add some legs to it, and essentially we got ourselves a little coffee table for the outside of the deck. We're all done building the deck. Let's take a tour. Let's do a show and tell of the wraparound deck on the cube. Here's our mother-in-law door, as the one guy in the comment mentioned. It's not a mother-in-law door anymore. It's more of it's got the deck on it. Okay guys, let's go for a tour of the deck. We're all done. Look at the view. You get to see the wildlife. You're amongst the trees. This is like ultimate tree fort. This is my happy place. This is what I enjoy. I enjoy being in the trees, being in the forest. Back of the deck. You can see all the way around. We've got our causeways to get to the front. So you come out the back door, you come over to the front area here. We've got our cook station, our wood fire cook station with our repurposed propane tank. We're gonna cook some, we're gonna give that a test run. We've got our some pumpkins we've harvested from the garden out front. Got our tiny firewood, actually our mini firewood for our mini cubic stove. That's there. We got our Muskoka chair over here. We've got some nice foliage. Silver is a Japanese red maple. So we've got a nice little area here. You can actually probably fit 2 Muskoka chairs up here comfortably. Got, if you look out front, you've got the pond. You guys got to stay tuned for wintertime because this is going to be the ultimate hockey rink. Ice skating rink, hockey rink. I think we're going to do some skating in the winter. Once that thing freezes over, we're going to make some boards, some nets. Game of pickup hockey. My brother, the wooded beardsman, he's okay at hockey. We'll see if he wants to come out and play. And a Holden's good at hockey. I'm just gonna give the wood burner a test run just to make sure everything works okay with that. I've got some guests coming over this weekend to stay at the main cabin, and I'm going to stay in the cube first night ever. My buddy Grant's coming over. We're cooking some brisket. Actually, we're not cooking it. We're smoking it in the smoker, and we got big plans coming up. Next, we're gonna go up.